Hello everyone, it is me again, your intrepid streamer Pyre Valor, and we're going to jump right back into our pirate campaign in EV Nova. So we're actually, I think, a little bit over halfway done with the campaign at this point. And we're just going to be going around and doing a couple of quick missions for our good friend Olaf Greyshoulders, picking up a whole lot of mysterious old friends of his, and continuing to ignore these two bounties that I picked up ages ago and cannot for the life of me remember where I got them. Yeah, usually when you have a mission you can then select the mission and press M, which opens up the map, and it should highlight the system that the mission you have takes place and where the objective is located. But the bounty missions don't seem to do that, which is a little bit unfortunate. Alrighty. Oh, so it looks like we have some excitement, so we're going to go down to regular speed and deal with a couple of Valkyries and Vipers, and gee, this isn't even an issue. And what else do we have going on here? I think I saw a Manticore. Yeah, it's a pirate Manticore, so I'm going to engage. Even though I really don't have to, the Federation Destroyer is just going to blow it up anyway. But hey, it does feed into that combat rating. Our combat rating is worthy of note. It should be nice when we do finally get up to Deadly, which is one of the higher combat ratings, where you can actually start to demand tribute from planets and fight very large planetary fleets for the privilege. Alrighty, so we meet Sven working in the back room of a dingy nightclub. He shakes your hand warmly and talks to you, and tells you that your father was a excuse me. He tells you that his father was a censor man for your father, and our father is capitalized for some reason. I don't think it should be. You observe him. Scanning all the patrons as they enter. He's performing the visual pat-down, like at a certain TV show pub. The scanners strip those waiting in line, first of their clothes, then their skin, showing all biological enhancements. You start to laugh at one man who has had the Mr. Wonderful nether region enhancement. When you realize that it was you standing outside scant moments before, you think about Sven inspecting you, and blush a deep scarlet. As if reading your thought, Sven smiles apologetically. Sorry, Captain. I only looked for a moment, I swear. Something tells you he enjoyed that moment, though. Interesting software, Mr. Fjordenham. You tell him coolly. Yes, Captain, it is. I designed it myself. It's called the Night Probe. Olaf funded me during its creation, and it's fast becoming the industry standard. Of course, the association makes a fair cut from the profits. You both leave and head back to your ship, wondering how many little projects Olaf has set up. If they're all this clever, you'll surely make enough money to buy your own universe and leave all the troubles in this one all behind. So, that just really sounds like some TSA technology right there, but we're not going to really worry too much about it. We are in a terminal system, so we're going to go ahead and pick up a bounty, just for fun. We don't really need the money with nearly 5 million credits, but we're going to do it anyway. Yeah, so what's interesting is... There we go. What's interesting is your character starts to complain about all the troubles in this universe throughout this storyline, and there's no obvious reason for that besides the obvious early tragedy of your father and mother dying at the hands of McGowan. But yeah, they just get really depressed, it seems. And I think that is a necessary evil of needing a way to end the pirate campaign, because you'll see how it wraps up either, if not in this video, then the next one. But it's definitely the odd man out when it comes to the campaigns in EV Nova. It just kind of is a little bit weird all around, and that includes the ending. Alright, as you quickly go through your post-flight routine, you decide to get Sven settled as soon as possible before heading to the bar to find Olaf. Alright, so he's settled in. I'm just going to take my usual peruse through the outfitter. We could get one of the... I thought there was a 10-ton variant of the railgun, but I might be remembering incorrectly. But we've got 10 free tons, so we should get like a fusion pulse cannon or something fun like that. Actually, I know exactly what we should get. We should get Yeah, 2 more Marine platoons. No, we should get some Hellhound missile launchers, because those are an excellent addition to any ship that needs to blow up a lot of other ships. But there's only, I think, 3 systems you can get them in, so we'll make a little detour to the Retharian system as soon as we find ourselves up in the galactic north again. Alright, after settling Sven, you surprise Olaf. He quickly shuts down his design terminal he was working at and meets you as you cross the room. The other association staff laugh at his behavior, and you know that they know what Olaf is planning. Only 2 more. You may as well pick them up at the same time. On Boral in the Arcturus system is Ferret, the best damn crew chief I've ever met. Ferret knows how to deal with crew, from the roughnecks to the bastards, from idiots to lazy good-for-nothings. Most crew are good, but Ferret, he can make the simplest of men perform better than ever. I'm sorry, this is rough heads, not roughnecks. There is a faction in EV Nova called the Roughnecks. They're not associated directly with any one storyline, although I think you do interact with them in the Federation one. But those of you who like, we'll call it good sci-fi, it's a Starship Troopers reference, and there's a whole lot of silly references like that in here. But that'll come later in the Federation storyline. I don't know when we're going to do that one, because it's kind of a long one. Alright, the second man I need you to fetch is Flynn Dizzy McHugh. He usually hangs around Ferret. If he's not around Ferret, then at least Ferret should be able to point you in the right direction. Now, Dizzy can make a destroyer out of a fighter if he wanted. Now, if he hasn't in the past... Not that he hasn't in the past, by the way. He learned to fly the hard way, earning a keep for his family. Even now, the lad is barely old enough to shave. One bright captain realized that Flynn was too smart to grow up being a ship's boy, and he discovered his knack for flying. If it's a civvy ship, then Dizzy has flown it. He's got the nickname from piloting Leviathans at 14. Apparently he made the crew dizzy with the things he was able to make the Leviathan do. Go and get them both, and come back here. I reckon I have something waiting for you. Alright, so this is a big, exciting moment. On your way to this ship, you're going to piece together what Olaf is up to. First a comms man, followed by a sensor man, a crew chief, and a helmsman. Was Olaf forming a crew? But for what? So this is kind of the big exciting moment in the pirate storyline. And, oh look, there's going to be a dogfight between some association ships, Federation ships, and the pirates are already space dust, so what can you do? So we're going to head up to the Galactic North, so we will make our little detour into the Retharian system, although I think we're actually going to hold off on doing that just a little bit longer. The reason should become apparent soon. Oh my. Apparently we are being hunted by pirates. I blame McGowan. Let's see if we can just disable them. It's always nice to... no, the rage gun boats aren't having that. Those Wraithai, they're just too effective. But Manticores, always nice, always contain a hefty helping of credits. Takes you less than an hour to locate Ferret, and it only takes him a quick phone call to get Dizzy to drop by, making your job very easy indeed. Dizzy and Ferret seem to get along famously, which makes you think that the return trip will be extremely trying. With a deep sigh, you decide to head back to Viking to see if you can find out what Olaf is up to. Alright, excellent. Also, a little fun fact about Boral 1, that it's the headquarters of the Boral Mining Corporation, but there's another space station that uses the same little kind of graphic, and that's the Pyrogenesis station in Nurse Primus? Sorry, in Nurse Secundus. Pyrogenesis 1. And apparently this is just what, like, mining space stations look like. It always reminded me of, like, Cloud City from Star Wars. Like, it's got the little thing that Luke hangs off in the end of, I guess, Episode 5. It's been a while since I watched the Star Warses. Another interesting thing about this little picture here is you have what looks to be either a shuttle or a heavy shuttle, which is rather large because it's perspective, but then you have a manticore, it looks like, or maybe it's even supposed to be a Leviathan. Actually, with the orientation, yeah, that's probably supposed to be a Leviathan. That is a really, really small Leviathan, if that's the case. Even with perspective, it appears that it's kind of in front of the space station, and the Leviathans are supposed to be massive, so I don't know really what's going on there. Either way, nothing really interesting being sold in the system, so we're just going to head out. And it seems like we might have Class 2. But you know what? what can you do? Alrighty. So we are going to head down to Chell. We're going to go ahead and take the Hypergate, because why not? It's fun. Oh, in case you missed it there, that Rebels modified Starbridge, very nice looking ship, but appears to be outfitted with Wraith-Eye. So that's kind of a neat thing there. The Wraith-Eye kind of like just become kind of standard for everyone other than the Aurorans, and I guess the pirates. If you don't do the Giltechnia mission chain that we did, they just end up cropping up everywhere. Kind of makes them a little bit less special if you're playing the Polaris campaign, but they get all sorts of other neat toys, so it's not really a big deal that they don't get to hold on to the exclusivity of the Wraith-Eye for the entirety of the game. I'm going to sip my water before we read this one out. Right from the start of the trip, Dizzy and Ferret made work impossible as they carry on like two old friends. Until you ask Ferret how he was supposed to control a crew if he couldn't control himself. Oof. Really just going for the gut there. Abruptly, the trouble stopped. You allowed Mr. Hughes to take the helm, and became slightly jealous when he made your own ship fly better than you could. As time goes by, you become used to buzzing through space that most pilots would have well left alone. Ferret kept the crew so well in line that you only noticed them when you told them about a job well done. By the end of the trip, you were surprised to find that you were enjoying their company quite a lot. See, I think that's kind of an interesting thing to put in here, because there are ships in the game which are piloted by only one person. The one that comes to mind immediately is probably the Aurorian Abomination, which is, I think, strictly speaking, their light fighter variant, and that's piloted by one person, so I have to wonder if you are piloting a ship like that, if they modify the text at all. I don't think they do, but something interesting to test at some point. One thing that's been troubling you is the fact that one of your biggest trade routes has fallen prey to raiders far too many times. There's been talk of a large pirate group specifically targeting Association convoys, and mostly when they are carrying rebel supplies. Oh gee, I wonder who that could be. The rebels have been getting more than a little worried, and you have to sort it out, and quickly. As you land, you see some sort of strife at the shipyards. The blast shields have been closed, and there are warning lights flashing all over the base. You decide to head to the shipyard as soon as you land. Alrighty. Should we actually do that, or should we hang out in the bar first? Alright, shipyard, fine. You burst into the shipyards to find the production floor hung with bunting and streamers. Balloons and laser light shows burst into life as you enter. Everyone yells, "Surprise." Out through the main viewport, you can see the most vicious-looking carrier you've ever seen. It has its huge 6 engines that look more capable for blasting through Federation blockades. The weapons platform is immense, with more cannons than you have ever seen. Olaf approaches you and smiles at the stunned look at your face. I take it you like your new ship. I have built a ship for you in the same way I built a ship for your father. This is your birthright. I have made her an updated version of the old Unrelenting. I'm glad that you like her. With a ship like this, you can go about making the Association safe and strong like it used to be. You feel tears spring to your eyes, and Olaf puts his arm around you. Ah, enough of that, Bonnie, or your crew will think you're a softie and try to walk all over you. Now come and meet them. Most of the bridge crew you've already met, and Olaf surprises you by telling you that he will handle the engineering section himself. At least you know why Olaf has been so secretive lately. So this is the nice, interesting thing about the pirate campaign, is you're actually just given one of the most, I wouldn't say best, because I'd argue that the Valkyrie Type 4 is actually better than a pirate carrier, but it's certainly one of the most characteristic pirate ships, just as part of the campaign. And what's really neat, as we'll find out soon, is you actually get to trick it out with cool stuff. One thing that is kind of annoying is if you do like your current ship, or if you manage to, say, capture one of the special Persona ships that the ATMOS crew fly around, or maybe Shade of Blue, which is a blue Zephyr that flies around, you don't really get to choose to keep it. If you can see over here on the right that our shields and armor have been modified because we're actually in the new ship right now, you have to take it. That's just part of the campaign. Alright. Olaf suggests the maiden voyage of the best carrier in the universe should be head out to Outcast in the Errol system and try to discover why the Association has been losing so many ships so near the small supply depot Olaf recently opened on the planet's surface. Bright and early, you meet up with your new bridge crew on your new ship. The surfaces of various consoles gleam with freshness that you find enticing. With a happy heart, you order Flynn McHugh to break contact with the base and head for the Aryl system. As the ship makes its way out of port, you set your course into the ship's computer data. Yeah, that does seem to be what it's called. Dala calculates the best course for you, and you drop into warp. One way or the other, you'll discover what's happening in Aryl. Alright, so here we are. We are now piloting the Unrelenting. It's this beautiful ship. We don't get to keep our old ship even as an escort. It's just poof. It's like you bought a new ship, it's gone. But what is nice is this ship is incredibly maneuverable, at least for its weight. And it even comes... Oh, there's no actual Pirate Vipers in the Pirate Viper Bay, but we can fix that later. Comes with 2 Pirate Thunderheads, though, and I'll take that all day. Hellhound missiles, so we actually don't need to worry about that. Ah, yeah, there is one issue, though, and we're stocking EMP torpedoes. They're actually not legal in the Federation, so we're going to have issues with the Federation getting kind of mad. But, hey, we're pirates. I think it's more fun to keep them. The kind of downside is, if you look here, they are 4 tons each. We have plenty of mass allocation at the moment, but that certainly isn't always true. If we want to do interesting things like trick it out with rail guns and the like, we might need to drop some of those for just the extra room. Now, these are 20 tons each. It's really pretty significant. Alright, so we're going to actually take off again and land again, because the outfitting here is not... Yeah, here we go. We actually need to be able to buy the various things to supply our fighter bays. 13? That doesn't seem right. That seems like we should... Oh, I ran out of money. Alright, we might need to do some pirating to get us back into a healthy bank account. I'm going to sell one of these because it needs to be an even number, because I'm crazy like that. We're going to sell these just because, even though I said it was fun, we would rather be able to outfit our ship as it should be, rather than just, you know, keeping something for thematic fun. I'm trying to think. Do we want tractor beams? Because that would accomplish the same kind of fun of having a illegal in Federation outfit, but while still making sure that we have some ability to disable other ships. But just look at this. Just look at this fleet. This really kind of makes you feel like a pirate guild leader, right? Like, this is kind of remarkable. And the game, if you see up here, doesn't really know how to handle fleets this big, so it kind of has the things on the periphery freak out a little bit. Alright, so before we head up to Aryl to see what's going on, I believe we can actually begin amassing interesting outfits for the Unrelenting by doing a couple side missions. I think that you pick them up in Rebel 1. Yeah, you do. Okay. You're sitting in the bar. A rather fit but fairly nondescript man walks in. He sees you and walks over casually. Pyre Valor, it's good meeting you. He begins pleasantly. I'm Frandl, and I have a somewhat dangerous mission for you. I know this is a bit outside of the regular line of work we got you to handle, but I need cargo carried at the same time as a passenger. It'll mean going through Federation space with a highly illegal cargo, and if you're scanned, the game will not end well. Or the game will be well and truly up. The gear is that hot. You smile, casually reminding Frandl that illegal cargo is a constant when you're working with the Rebellion, and he chuckles. This is even hotter than usual. Are you interested? Yeah, I mean, how could we not be? The cargo must be picked up on Ruther in the Rutherian system. He continues after you nod in agreement. It is a shipment of new technology that we cannot allow to be sold to the Federation. It will upset the balance of power a lot if the Federation does receive this technology. The only problem is we cannot tell you what the cargo is. However, I can tell you that the passenger you'll be collecting is Tomac Gemmel, grandson of Jyrgen Gemmel? I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. CEO of Ruther Heavy Power Industries. Tomac wishes to defect the rebellion and bring his new technology with him. I need you to rescue him. You finish your drink, telling Frandl that you will get Tamok back, however long it takes. He may have to lay low for a couple days or even weeks. Frandl nods. If anyone understands the complexities of the spy game, it's him. You say your goodbye and head to Ruther. Routher? Eh. So Frandl's an interesting character. He shows up in... Ooh, I almost want to say every campaign. But I don't know if he shows up in the Auroran one. Maybe? I'm sure we'll find out. But we'll certainly be running into Frandl later. Let's top off our collection of Hellhound missiles because they are really, really good. And what else can we pick up when we're here? The Rebel 1, or just Rebel 2 I mean, is really quite nice because they stock a lot of things you have difficulty finding in Federation space. But actually they don't have a lot of the stuff that I usually credit them with supplying. Alright, so that port and polish did improve our maneuverability a fair bit. And because we have access to the Hypergate system, this little mission is actually not too bad. We don't actually have to go that far for it. Oh, I need to pick up an IFF decoder and the associated gravimetric sensor because our minimap is still in black and white. It's just so satisfying to see that large V formation of ships. What's not to like about being a pirate king? Alright. You land at the far end of the dock in an off-peak time. A group of sleepy dock workers look at your consignments and load a number of crates into your hold. You head off to the meeting point, but something tells you that the port is a little too quiet. It is with great relief you see a man matching Tamok's description waiting for you. He sees you approaching, waves, picks up a large case, and heads over to you. Just as a squad of Bureau agents rounds the corner. You whip out your blaster and open fire. Bolts fizz past the two of you as you sprint for your ship. A deft turn and ducking through a bar, you somehow manage to lose your pursuers. At your ship, you breathe a sigh of relief when the harbor master gives your clearance vector. Breaking any number of port laws, you blast away from the station. Tamok is visibly shaken, but you can tell, despite his development work, he has never heard weapons fired in anger. As you reassure him that you should be okay, now that he has reached open space, the sensors begin to sound alarms. Outside, the Federation Navy is vectoring a large number of ships to stop you. You begin to count, but soon realize there are simply too many of them, and you immediately prepare to jump out. So I suspect that as soon as we press OK, we're going to be shoved off into open space, as a couple of missions do that. So here goes nothing. Oh, that's anticlimactic. Some missions do just kick you out into open space. I'm kind of glad this one doesn't, because it allows us to pick up things here, like this vector thrust, which, despite being a Owen Greylock special, which I believe is, I think that was our father, Owen Greylock, we don't get standard on the Unrelenting, but it just increases turn radius. Other than that, I think we're good, because we managed to pick up our Hellhound missiles up in Rebel 1. Oh, an auto recharger. Just removes the need to recharge at every station, as one would expect. Actually, do we have an afterburner? We don't. Gotta have your afterburner. So let's see. We have to probably make 2 jumps and then take a hypergate up to Korea. And we're probably going to be met with heavy resistance as soon as we leave. So cross your fingers and let's go. Yeah, I have a fleet. So they're going to give us time to jump away. Our ship is just going to eat Hellhound missiles, apparently. Because we're just that good. I'm going to slow this down as I try to get over to... Oh no. Oh no, we might actually have to... I have to load our pilot. But it looks like we're just going to get away here. Especially if I just blast away at these pursuers. It's always exciting when you have to enter slow mode. Alright, is the carrier still there? Yeah, there's multiple carriers there, so we're not going to wait around. And I probably lost a couple escorts, but that is why they're here. Oh, okay. So I've fallen into the trap of using my afterburner too much, and now we're out of fuel. So we're going to have to land. Or go back to my initial plan and take the hypergate. So we're going to do this as quick as possible without being scanned. Alrighty. That was exciting. And yeah, we did lose a significant chunk of our escort. Do we still have our little Federation Viper? No, but we do have a very nice symmetrical arrangement of our Pirate Valkyrie Class 4 Thunderheads and Vipers. Although we do have one more Pirate Thunderhead to deploy. Alrighty. Frandl meets you and Tamaka at the hatch. The other rebel operatives begin to examine the extent of the damage to your beloved Unrelenting. Frandl looks slightly worried about the fact that the entire Federation populace seems to know about the shipment. He tells you that he is going to discuss the matter with Rebel High Command. I have a suspicion that we're going to get you to do something a little different for us next time we send you out. You shake your hand. He shakes your hand and you walk away, calling out orders to his staff. Tamaka thanks you quietly, before being whisked away by Rebel staff for debriefing. The ion damage from the pirates in the fleet has led to a number of close calls, and it has been with luck rather than good management that you've made it this far. The enemy you have faced have all headed straight for you, and you know that you will have to do something or there is every likelihood the rest of the mission will end in disaster. You are sitting on your ship ramp when Tamaka stops by. Pyre Valor, I may have a solution to your dilemma, he offers tentatively, after you explain your thoughts to him. The pirates have been ionizing you, trying to disable you, and make you an easier catch. In exchange for my political asylum here in the rebellion, I brought along a prototype of an ion dissipation device. If you would allow me, it wouldn't take too long to install into your ship. What do you think? You consider for a moment before realizing that having such a device couldn't hurt, especially when dealing with pirates and other groups that use ionizing technology. You tell Tamaka to go ahead. A few days later, it's all ready to go. So there we go. That is the advantage of doing this little side mission, is we get this. An outfit stolen from Rather when the engineer Tamaka Gemmel defected to the rebellion. It's actually a series of radiative surfaces that radiate the energy buildup that causes ionization out into the surrounding space, allowing ships to function more fully under an ionizing attack. So it's just a big heat sink. But, yep, this is the only way to get this outfit in the game. It is only for the pirate storyline, and I believe maybe only for the Unrelenting. I'm just going to poke around and head back out. We're not going to bother with those small fry pirates. We're just going to head back down to Chell, because I believe there's another side mission we can pick up. Although it might come a little bit later, so don't quote me on this. Also, how much damage do we take in terms of our finances? Yeah, this is going to take some time to build back up. Now, we could go around and disable ships and do all that fun stuff, but I don't see too much of a point in doing so. I'm actually not sure what illegal technology they were speaking of there, because I thought we had rid ourselves of the EMP torpedoes, which would be considered to be illegal technology, so maybe it's the ionization or reverse ionization device, but I still didn't think so. I don't know. Curious. Ah, I remember this part. This mission. I don't think I can board any of these. I think they're all... yeah, they're all storyline. However, I can totally blow up and board these guys. Although, really, I should let them disable the Rebel first, and that way I can board him as well. But that is a little bit gamey. So we're going to not do that, and we're just going to take care of this. Tab through all these ships, all these derelict ships in space, and take care of you. There we go. Alrighty. Oh, these are all our people, because they're all association. Oh dear, oh dear. As the ship drops out of warp, you see the remnants of an association fleet. The burnt-out husks of their vessels drift through the blackness of space. The debris field is huge, and the size of it indicates the enemy attacked them and pounded them into dust. The desolation is so complete. When you finally land after looking around, you see that even the supply depot was raided. Your irritation boils over, and you make a snap decision to go and see the rebels and inform them of the situation. In a voice made icy by rage, you give the orders to your bridge crew, who snap to comply with an alercity beyond even their normal excellence. You tell Dala to set course Rebel 2 in the Korea system. So we're just going back up to Rebel 2. Association, and the Federation is fighting us. But with just a Federation destroyer, they will lose. Hello, fellow carrier. And he just gives us trade advice, because after all, we are, strictly speaking, a trade organization. You can tell the Federation is not too happy with us, because Nurse Secondus has decided that we are an enemy of the state. And you know what? They're probably right. At least an enemy of the Bureau. Alright, let's head down to T'Challa real fast. Just to try to pick up that other storyline. I don't think we can yet. But it doesn't hurt to check. I just don't know what the illegal outfit is that they're complaining about. We could let them scan us again and then figure it out, but I don't need to take another reputation hit with the Federation, at least at this point. Oh, look. Bad day to be that Viper. Alrighty. You meet with the Rebel High Command. After the news that the latest shipment has been lost, the Rebels grow very long in the face. A plan is hatched after some discussion. Franel suggests the best way to flesh out the enemy is to create a shipment that is too tempting a target to pass up. The plan is made to create a bogus convoy, packed with important supplies carrying the Rebel High Command. Oh, actually carrying the Rebel High Command, alright. A series of communications is sent back and forth, and the fleet is assembled. The convoy contains very few freighters and many warships. The rebels are happy for you to deal with the enemy. The fleet sets out and heads back to Rebel 2 with every intention of being attacked by the enemy. Alright, set up trap. We have to just go back to the outpost system in the Aryl, or outcast in the Aryl system and set up the trap, but we're actually going to try to keep trying to trick that, or trip the hook for the next side mission, because I believe if we get too far along, it won't let us do it anymore. So it would be nice to take care of that first. It gives us these neat auto-repair drones onto the Unrelenting, and it has some pretty amusing dialogue, so I'd like to do it. Alright, I guess we'll wait. If we have to bypass it, it's not too much of an issue. It would just be, you know, something that's fun to do. We'll see how well this mission in the Aryl system goes. I think it sometimes goes a bit sideways because of the sheer number of ships that end up jumping in, and you're supposed to disable a specific one, and it's pretty difficult. Alright, the trap being set, the fleet sets out to flush out the enemy. The mood on board is one of tense expectation. The plan calls for you to disable enemy ships so they can be boarded and prisoners taken. It goes without saying that the fighting must be brutal and fierce. The possibility of death hangs on everyone, but the current situation must stop. The enemy crew themselves will not be the chief source of information, but the enemy database will. So you'll have to disable and board whichever of the ships seems to be their command vessel. So this is the hard part. Getting hold of the databanks will enable you to track the movements of specific ships, tracking them to secret bases and rendezvous points. It will also make it possible for you to read encoded messages and decipher the identity of their senders. Once you know that, you'll be able to cross-reference with membership lists of the association. A long process, but necessary. Only by doing so you will discover the trail of the killers and destroy them all. Then a sudden warning comes through the comm. It looks like the party is about to warm up. The bad guys have sent their fleet to destroy your convoy. You smile savagely, preparing to take off and deal with scumbags in orbit who have been trying to stop you from the minute you started looking successful. You send off a grim message packet to Olaf, telling me to meet you in Rebel 2 on the Korea system if you survive this little encounter. So this may take a couple tries, but we're going to do our best. The issue is actually that they tend to destroy them, not disable them, and we need them disabled. So, just one of those things. Like, you'll just randomly get the message mission failed because they got destroyed. It may have already happened. Yeah, Unless we're getting very lucky, and one of these is going to be the command vessel, we may have already failed. Let's hope the Federation doesn't... Don't destroy that! Oh, you beasts. Why would you do that? Man, NPC ships are just a pain sometimes. Alright, so... I guess we'll have to reload the pilot. Very disappointing. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, so we will not have the Federation interference here. That's good. Yeah, I think we want the Black Dragon. With a name like that, I mean, it's probably the Black Dragon. Ah, it is the Black Dragon, because we just got the mission failed for that. This is why it's good... Oh no, more Federation. You know what? Screw the Federation. I'm not going to survive this. Unless I do. Alright, everyone return to formation, because we don't want to blow up the Black Dragon. Good. I bet it was that other Federation gunboat that just blew up the Black Dragon. Alright, that just goes to show. Gotta leave no survivors when it comes to the Federation. Alright. This should go better now. Okay, so we just have to not blow up the ship. Disable. Do not destroy. Alright, we did it. Somehow, some way. So there we go. Probably one of the more difficult missions in the pirate storyline. And we're going to try to avoid getting disabled because we are so low on armor at the moment. And we're just going to try to kite them around and send our escort to deal with the pirates here. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright, I think we're in the clear. Now, I need to do my due diligence and go through and pick up the escorts of mine that got disabled, like this Pirate Thunderhead. Because otherwise we gotta buy new ones, and that's just kind of a pain. Alright, and it seems we have a Pirate Thunderhead up there, which is not one of my escorts. But I'm just gonna let it go, because I don't really mind leaving that one behind. Alright. I wonder how much of our actual personal convoy we left behind. Okay, so it does appear like we've lost one of our... Oh, nope, we still have all of our... Pirate Viper Bays is apparently what they don't like. I don't really care. We're a pirate, we can have illegal technology. Man, the Hypergate system makes this so much better. Alrighty. Olaf hands you a full stein of ale, and you silently raise it in memory of those who will never drink with you again. The rebels were already prepared for your arrival, and the wounded are swiftly taken into hospitals and to medical stations whose doctors ask no questions. As their repair crew gets to work, you take stock of the situation. Your ammunition stocks are depleted, and there are some badly damaged ships in your fleet. Others will never sail again. We need to take those captured databanks to Rebel 1 in the Eveli system. Evely? Must be an anagram for something, or there's some clever joke I'm missing. Muses Olaf quietly, obviously uncomfortable to disturb you during your reverie. This is the place where the rebel codebreakers are currently hiding. Those guys at the computers will soon have the ciphers broken and the information pouring out to us. You nod in agreement, hoping the decoding won't take long. Once the supplies have been loaded and the damaged sections have been repaired, you instruct Mr. Flynn to take her out, and ask Dalla to set course to Rebel 2. For Rebel 2. You hope that this trip will be less action-packed than the last, but you doubt it. And so you take what's left of your fleet to ensure that the data package reaches the decoders. Now, I believe Rebel 2 is actually the system we're in now, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the writers some slack and just, you know, set course to go out into the general space of Rebel 2, so we can then jump to Rebel 1, which has the Evely system. Alrighty. Pretty straightforward. And after we do this, I'm probably going to go try to pick up the side mission just a couple more times, you know? It'd be a shame to not do it. You're happy to make a safe plan at Fallen Rebel 1. Dizzy slumps into his chair, gladly letting the helm sit idle. It has not been an easy trip for him. Sven has spent far too long in his post, and his eyes are so bloodshot that you can barely see any whites in them. Stand down, gentlemen, and I'll see to it that you both get plenty of rest. They both salute and leave the bridge. You pick up the hailer and inform Mr. Ferret to begin offloading the databanks. You remind him of their importance and ask him to place his best fighters on cargo duty that day. He chuckles and tells you to relax, as he has already handpicked the cargo crews for today, making sure that there are some hulking but fast-reflexed lads among them. You break the connection and sit back. All you have to do now is wait, and you inform the rebels that you'll keep checking by the bar to see if they've unraveled all the information in the databanks, and looked for you when they do. Alright, and Rebel 1 has, I think, one of the best vignettes of any planet, probably in the game. I mean, you've got it all. You've got this nice wooded area and this beautiful water. You've got this, the gas giant that borders this planet in the background, and you have these Rebel Vipers. You can actually tell they're Rebel Vipers because of the kind of hammerhead nose and the two blasters on either side. Right, I can't show you because we actually don't have access to Rebel ships in this playthrough, but I'm sure we'll look at that later. So, I think we're just gonna again head back down to Chell and try to get that side mission, but just take a moment to enjoy it. Oh, they got like bird sounds in the background. It's just beautiful. Alrighty. Nothing going on here. Oh, but I can show off. Oh, of course, the Rebel Vipers then immediately went back to their, I assume, bay on the Rebel IDA frigate. But, oh well. Interesting they don't include the rings on the planet behind it in the vignette. But I think there's limitations on how much you can really do with the 3D modeling program used to make them. And I have a funny story about that. So when I used to play this when I was young, I also had a 3D modeling program that I had access to because of a family friend called Bryce. And Bryce was this really neat program for doing 3D modeling. And this was back longer than I'd care to admit. And so this was pretty cool stuff at the time. And it would, like, you could mock up something in 3D and then would render it over a period of time, and you'd see the image slowly get more and more pronounced, and you can make these really neat 3D environments in it. I was never very good at it because, you know, I was a kid at the time. But years later, I was looking at one of the vignettes in this game, and I just thought, you know what? I bet you can make that in Bryce. And sure enough, I recently found a stream someone had done where they actually got one of the creators of this game onto their stream to interview as they played through, like, all 3 of the Escape Velocity games. And he confirmed that he actually made these vignettes in Bryce. And so it's just a neat little thing that, you know, young me apparently hit the nail right on the head in terms of guessing the appropriate software. But that's probably just dumb luck on my account. But it does have this kind of very distinct look. I don't even know how you make space stations like this in Bryce. That just would blow my mind. I don't know if they did, like, this stuff in it. That might have been a different 3D modeling program, because usually, or at least it strikes me, that Bryce was primarily for doing landscapes. Oh, hey. So here's another portion of the other side mission with Frandl. Once more, you're sitting at the bar when Frandl comes in. He doesn't mince words. Pyre Valor, are you able to do a special mission for us? He waits for you to nod. Going back to Ruther Prime, picking up another shipment? You groan, thinking about how much trouble you had last time. But Frandl goes on before you can protest too much. The last time you went to the Routher system, there was obviously a security leak, or somehow the Federation sent word to the pirate organizations in the area that you were an inviting target. We didn't think the latter could have happened quickly enough to cause you much trouble as it did, so we need to send you out again in order to try to ascertain where the leak is. Are you game? Of course we're game. On Routher, collect your shipment from Docking Bay 94, and deal only with cargo handlers there. Your manifest will say engine manifolds, but instead they will load a number of crates of Polaran cannons. Another group of techies will also take some time installing a light Polaran cannon to your ship. They are still only prototypes, and won't be coming to the Federation lineup for at least a few years. If we implement them first, we'll have a huge advantage over the Federation. The other great thing about this mission is that all the pirates that attacking you last time will come out again, because the leak will tell them to do so. But armed to the teeth, and with the ion dissipators, you will have the upper hand. Kill them all, blow them back from this world. While you take care of that end, we will take care of the leak. So this is kind of interesting, because we actually already have Polaran cannons from doing the Gil Technia side missions, so I think it just kind of assumes you haven't done them. You point out to Franel that the entire Federation Navy wants to catch up with you. Landing on a Federation-controlled planet with your record will be more than a little tricky. He grins at you before explaining that rebel techs were cleaning your Federation record even as he is speaking. You ask him to thank them, grab your gear, and head for your ship. So that's an interesting thing about this game, where you do have this kind of dynamic reputation system, and really we've been pretty good about keeping our reputation in check, but as you can see, like here in the Nurse Secondist, is run by this Roughnecks group I was talking about earlier. They don't really like us, but everywhere else in the Federation, we're still considered either no record or a good citizen. And that's probably due to this mission, but certain missions will have certain effects on your reputation. And I guess this one just has a positive effect on all your Federation reputation. I'm not complaining. We're just going to head down to Chell. I don't know why I look at the missions every time I come here. There's nothing really in the missions to do at this point. Unless we want to do some UN shipping to improve our reputation with, I think, all systems. The UN shipping company is just a phenomenal way if you find yourself in bad reputation with anyone, is you just do a bunch of UN missions and it boosts your reputation like crazy. It's probably intentional. Because if you do try to roleplay like a pirate's pirate and just like attack the big shipping, should make sure actually I don't have a light Polaran cannon. I think they're going to install it here. But if you play a pirate's pirate and attack the big shipping stuff like the Leviathans, you will see your reputation tank pretty fast. You are in a total state of awareness the entire time you are on Routher. The loading of the engine manifolds takes very little time, but installing your new hardware is a trickier task. Work can only progress while there is a little chance of discovery by security patrols. Finally, the cannons are in place, and the tests have been run. Your targeting computer recognizes the weapons, and you are impressed at the size of the things. Each side of your ship there is an innocuous little hatch, yet when you climb into the inner workings of the ship, you see the impressive expanse of accelerators, focusing crystals, and power plants. You grin wickedly at the thought of taking your revenge on that scum that caused so much trouble on your last trip back to Rebel 2. Now you will have the whip hand. Alright, very nice. We are armed to the teeth, although I'm more than willing to bet they've only really just given us one. But let's find out. Oh my. Entering slow mode, so I can even select the thing. Yeah, they just given us one. That is fine. And we've disabled ourselves. Alright. Well, let's see if we can maybe get by here without getting destroyed, and then we can ask for assistance. Nope. Someone got a lucky shot off. And now, because you can't exit back to main menu while your ship is exploding, we get to watch the very, very long pirate carrier exploding animation. Let's try that again. Also, have some Hellhound missiles. Those are way more fun to use. That little blue explosion you just saw in space, that's an EMP torpedo. Those are the ones we were refraining from using because they weigh like 4 pounds per torpedo. Yeah. good luck with that. Oh, but let's not get hit by one, because they do pack quite a punch. Alright, I think we've done it. I think we have successfully destroyed every pirate who just jumped into this system. So we're going to land again, because we're kind of on our last legs here. That's one of my complaints with the pirate carrier, is that it doesn't have great shields, or at least not... well, it probably has decent shields for its size, but the issue I have is that I'm used to playing with a much more agile ship, and so you just don't get hit as much, whereas this kind of just melts your shields pretty quick. But what can you do? I'm not going to complain about a free Polaran cannon either. Just don't tell the rebels that the Federation not only already has Polaran cannons through the Guild Technia chain, but they also have Wraith-Eye. Everyone is Wraith-Eye, except for us, apparently. Some piracy going on. We're just going to ignore it for the time being. Rebel cargo handlers begin to unload the crates from your hold, while Rebel tacticians begin downloading your sensor banks for study. You're more than happy to let them, since it will lend to some credence to the stories you're going to have to tell during your debriefing. The cannons are stupendous in battle. You cannot wait to let the rebels loose with them. The Federation will never know what hit them. Sure. With the data from your sensors as backup, you are able to convey to the rebels the power of the new weapon in their arsenal. Frandel's especially happy at the result, and glad at the havoc you are able to wreak on the way back to Rebel 2. As you leave your debriefing, Frandel walks up beside you. Pyre Valor, you might like to hear this, he says, taking you aside. I didn't want to say too much just then, but the leak that caused all the trouble was located. Let's just say there won't be any problems with that particular double agent again. You remember a time when war was something you didn't have to think about, but now you realize that you are glad that Frandel is capable of being as ruthless as he is. His ruthlessness makes that agents and operatives like yourself have the best chance of survival. Alright, well, that's a neat little side mission that I had apparently forgotten about. Oh, they actually gave us 2 Polaran cannons, with the option to buy more. I don't really feel the need for any more. They probably are affected by the X+1 glitch, and the X+1 glitch in EV Nova is a well-known bug which causes multiple weapons of the same type that fire on the same pulse to not properly add their damage, or in the case of the usual... Okay, just keep blowing up Federation patrols, sure. The usual poster child for the N+1 glitch, the ion cannon. It doesn't allow the ion damage to be dealt to a degree that it should be. And there are actually plugins that supposedly fix this. I just never really bother to, because quite frankly I don't use ion cannons that much, and so I don't see much point in just going out my way to fix it. That being said, I probably should. It would make dealing with pirate manticores a little bit more interesting, because right now you can strafe them pretty well and not have to worry too much about the ionizing damage, because it just isn't enough in a short period of time to prevent you from disabling them with some chain guns and pulse batteries. But probably wouldn't be the case if they actually were able to fire, I think, 6. I think the standard array on a Manticore is 6. With full effectiveness. Definitely don't want to be the other side of that. Alright, let's set down on Rebel 1 and see if they have the codes. They do not have the codes. Alright. I guess we're just going to hang around a while. We could go and disable some ships, and let's see, we have about like a couple more minutes before we should probably be wrapping up this particular video. So I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try my hardest to get the side mission to trigger, because it'd be nice to have that as the signing off point for this video and get into that with the next video, where I think we'll be in a good position to finish up the Rebel campaign. We are close. I promise that. We are close. And then it'll be a question of what to do next. I'm thinking probably the Velos campaign. The Velos campaign is really nice because it is a good length. It's fairly short. It kind of gives you exposure to a couple other campaigns just by you get sent all across the galaxy. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You get to use the Velos ships, which you don't get access to at all in any other storyline, whereas you can usually capture other stuff. I think it'll be a good time. Yeah, this is mine now. That's what you get for trying to scan my Pirate Viper base. I wonder if I buy the carrier license, they'll leave me alone with that. I think that's probably the case. We should probably do that. Otherwise, our reputation has continued to take a nosedive. So I wonder if I can buy it here. Because sometimes you can get, like, forged licenses for the various outfits. And those are never a good idea because they trip the scanners in the same way that just illegal technology does. And so that kind of removes the point. You could just buy the illegal version of the tech in question. So I guess we'll go to Seoul. You could buy it at the space dock here. I think it's space dock 1. But unfortunately, we are no longer on good terms. And we're no longer on good terms with the Seoul system either. Oh my, oh my. So we're going to have to actually hail the planet and offer them a bribe. I will totally pay you 4,000 credits. That's fine. I'm going to make back a significant chunk of that by turning in our bounties. So there we go. Fighter Bay license. Maybe that'll alleviate some of the issue. Ah, right. We still have to give ourselves the Sigma tune-ups. And that will require a little bit more dosh, a little bit more money. So let's go do some quick pirating in the Jeff John system, our old standby. Now, alternatively, we could do some freighter work. There are a couple of fairly good shipping lanes that we could take advantage of. But we're a pirate. We should need to do pirate things. It's just the way it is. Ooh, a carrier battle. These are always fun to watch. Let's see if we can get close before someone wins. Don't mind us. We're just here to observe. Wow, it took care of that rather handily. How nice for me. Ah, I didn't tell them to lay off fast enough. That's okay. I will gladly board this Federation carrier as a consolation prize. Wouldn't it be funny if we end up capturing it? 13%, that's not nothing, but nope. Get away from it so we don't get caught in the blast. And why not try to get this Pirate Viper captured? I'm sorry, who's shooting at us? Oh, I think it's stray shots from this Pirate Starbridge Class C. Alright. No need to be in slow mode anymore. We can work with that. Just look at that barrage. That's just nuts. I tell you, pirate campaign. It's a good campaign to do. It feels good. Oh shoot, I think I destroyed it. Combat rating is dangerous, though. Excellent, excellent. And we're an upstanding citizen in this system because we've been destroying a whole lot of pirates. Do we have any new honors? No, not at the moment. I don't think we actually get to be, like, Grand Pirate Guild Master or anything. I think it just tops out at Pirate Guild Master. It would be nice to get that that Valkyrie upgrade to Class 4, but with 2 Federation destroyers, it's not going to be sitting around long enough for that to be a reality. It's always interesting seeing who will win when there's pirates and Federation in the same system. But instead, why don't we just try to take advantage of this carrier, which is conveniently here. Gonna try very hard not to destroy it. Alright, good stuff. Because what's more fun than a carrier? How about a carrier with a carrier escort? Or just 500,000 more credits. I'll take either. Always take the credits. Resist the urge to destroy the Federation dogs for blowing up my my captures, my spoils. But as you can see, this is not a bad way to make an income in EV Nova, is just hunting pirates. I suppose you could do similar with trying to take down the Leviathans, the big shipping ships. But the issue with that is, you know, you will almost universally become reviled in the systems you do so in. I don't know why I bothered to blow up this guy. It was there. Why? Because it's there. Alright. This is going to be interesting. Also, it's also interesting that supposedly on paper, the Federation and the Free Traders are working together. So you do see Federation ships attack Free Trade ships when really they probably shouldn't thematically. I'll gladly take these Pirate Vipers. Why not? Oh, I had not appreciated that even though they were not mine, they would count towards my my bay allotment, my Viper Bay allotment. I am not complaining about that one bit. They are not cheap. Man, that barrage, that artillery barrage is just so good. So those enterprises, those pirate enterprises, actually have a variant which has a ion beam. It's the heavily modified variant, I believe. And that's pretty nice, but I'm not going to worry about collecting them and upgrading them just because they're not as efficient as the Pirate Valkyries, and the Pirate Valkyries, I believe, come with Hellhound missiles as well. And, you know, I'm never going to complain about a couple of Hellhound missiles in your back pocket. Man, should have been capturing these guys ages ago. Missed him. I can't imagine that he's going to win. Nope. But he didn't do badly. I mean, he got the Federation carrier down to 40%, and he was just a pirate enterprise. I can respect that. Got an association guy, another association guy. Alright, well we got 2 million credits. That should be more than sufficient to finance our whatever nonsense we want to do. And it will, at the very least, allow us to get a Sigma Shipyards upgrade in the Sol system. Either the electrical rewiring or the other one. I think the Manticore is going to lose this. Yeah. These Rage gunboats, they're pretty nasty. They're pretty aggressive things. I mean, they're not enough to take down me, but hey, what is? Huh, no, the Sol system does not like us after that. You know what? Fine. We're a pirate. Viking will be our home. Still nothing there. Well, I would like to, at the very least, start another mission before we call it quits in this episode. So we're going to head back up to Rebel 2 system and see if we can't get something going on there. See if those code breakers have made any progress. We could also just go bother Shiel, and that's like the McGowan Free Trading Association headquarters. It'll become relevant later, but it's just a great place to hang out and blow up pirates. The issue is that because the system filled entirely with pirates, you can sometimes have issues holding on to the ships you disable because you disable them and then whoever else just comes and boards them. Because they're all pirates. It's no honor among thieves. Unless you're in the association, apparently. Also, wow, it's taken a very long time to decode these Federation codes. Nothing else we really want here. There's no missions available. I guess we'll just go down to Chell, and we're just over the hour mark, so I think we will have to call it without getting another mission chain. But hey, there are worse things in the world. We managed to ascend to the Unrelenting, probably one of the most, I think personally, the most memorable ships in the game. You never forget when you're doing this storyline for the first time, and it's like, wait a minute, what just happened? I used to think the ship was bad. I used to be not a fan of it because I liked the really, really agile ships, and I still do, but you just don't appreciate how agile the Unrelenting can be if you get all the right upgrades for it. Like, this thing handles really well. Alright. Of course, when I say I'm going to close out the episode, then we get the alternative mission string. So, great. It all worked out. You're sitting quietly in the bar, going over the latest report from Olaf, when the man himself walks in. He heads in your direction, and you are secretly relieved. You never did have much time for paperwork, and all in all, whenever Olaf heads your way, you know they'll be heading out into the depths of space again. Olaf doesn't disappoint, and he tells you about a pirate outfitter organization operating out of the Attila in the Altair system, using a large asteroid as a base. Apparently, they're building some very powerful engine upgrades out there and are prepared to sell them to the highest bidder. Olaf thinks it would be worthwhile heading out there and having a look at least. But just be careful, he finishes. They're apparently a pretty rough bunch. Alright, so this one's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll do it. If we go 10 minutes over the episode, then, or over the hour, that's not the worst thing in the world, and this one is a lot of fun. And I just want to. I'll be honest. I really like this kind of side mission. It's very silly. It just feels like you're this rogue out going to remote corners of the galaxy and inquiring about people's specialties. Alright, this is a long one though. It's going to require a sip of my drink. On arrival, you cycle the hatch and see 4 burly men facing you, each holding a wickedly oversized blaster. A skeletal man steps out from behind them and starts rasping at you. Don't be causing any trouble around here, in a thick and uncouth accent, or you'll be dealing with me, boys Reggie, Ronnie, Mickey, and Rodger. He nods to the 4 mutant apes, who grunt a monosyllabic greeting to you. You tell Skinny Man that you've been sent by Olaf Greyshoulders to view the engine upgrades for sale. Olaf, Skinny sneers. He be just any nothing uppity central boy. Okay. He don't know jack 'bout real engine work. Always too busy sticking his nose where it ain't wanted. You bite back an angry retort and ask the man if he has any upgrades available, and if so, how much does he want for them? The price has almost tripled since you left Viking. You tell Skinny this, and he just laughs at you. Well, he drawls, you could pay us, or you could be doing us a favor. We've been having trouble with pirates over east. That'd be Dan McGaw over in the Landil 21185 system. You think to yourself, you have some cordial dealings with him through the association. Last time you spoke him via subspace, Dan was having trouble with, as he puts it, Hicks, who decided they would take resources from his territory and attack him if he complained about it. At least that was Dan's version. According to Skinny, the real problem is that Dan didn't like his boys taking rides in his system, and that McGaw couldn't understand boys just being boys, and shooting and drinking and blowing stuff up. You mutter your agreement, meanwhile thinking that Skinny is a true imbecile. I'd be inclined to agree here. However, when Skinny finally gets to the point, you have to stop and consider Skinny is prepared to throw in all his engineering skills. While Skinny is a ferret, he has done some amazing things with an engine, which will make your ship accelerate faster, fly at a faster top speed, and jump like a Velos with a nuke torp up its butt. Alright, you guess that means it'll jump quickly. However, in return, Skinny wants to deal with the problem with Macaw just disappear, if you get my drift. So do you do it or not? You do have an agreement with Macaw regarding each other's shipping, and he's not a bad guy. So here, we have it's a test of will you stand on your morals as a good association pirate, and we can't turn over one of our own, so we're going to say no. You tell Skinny that Dan is a friend of yours, and you just sooner go without the upgrades and sell out your friend. Skinny sneers and tells you to get off of his land and turn and head back to your ship. The gruesome forcemen follow you every step of the way, and Skinny comes behind them, telling that you had better not hang around. He and the boys are expecting the rest of their kin back from raiding soon, and would take great delight in killing you. At least, that's what you think he said. However, you believe that the boys will be going for a joyride soon, and will be gone for at least a couple days. If you look like you're going, then maybe you can come back and force Skinny to do the repairs for free. Alright, so this really makes you feel like a honest pirate. So, we have honor among thieves, and we're going to make Skinny do the repairs because, you know what, we're the pirate king around here. You land on the asteroid, surprised at how empty it is. You almost start to think Skinny left with the youngins when you hear him whistling away to himself down a long corridor. You pull out your blaster and wander in. Skinny is elbow deep in the innards of an engine, and no position to defend himself. At first, he is ropeable at being disturbed. Okay. Before long, he is working on your ship. By the time he is finished, you take him back to his workshop, hog-tie him, and go back to your ship. But just as you think you're going to get away scot-free, you hear Reggie, or was it Ronnie, they're all so alike, explicitly calling on the radio saying, "Pa, looky who we found." You quickly turn on your sensors, and sure enough, the boys are coming back, with a fairly large pirate raiding force following them. You prep your ship for battle, and hope that Skinny wasn't smart enough to do anything foolish. Alrighty. So we get our little upgrade scot-free, and we're going to try to just, yeah, we're just going to thread the needle out of here. I'm not fighting that. That's like a bunch of mana cores. And yeah, we don't actually have to fight this nonsense, which is good because I wouldn't want to anyway. I am totally lying. We're going to blow them up. At least they're Vipers, because that's pretty easy. No, I don't want to give any escort commands. I pressed that by mistake. And you know what? You made the mistake of bunching up. So have some Hellhound missiles. They are delightful. I don't know if I have any other missiles, but it doesn't appear to be the case. I would send my Valkyries in, but I don't think they're going to manage too well with this many mana cores on us. Because that is a lot of mana cores. That is like... yeah, that's like 8. Okay, I'm not going to sit around and... you know, I wonder if I hailed them, if they have a special greeting. No, they don't. I was hoping they'd have the accent that Skinny has. Where was I? Oh yeah, that's how you deal with fringe world hicks who want to charge you exorbitant prices for your sweet, sweet engine upgrades. Olaf roars with laughter when you tell him about the fun you had getting the upgrades. When you tell him about the ship handles in combat, he gets very serious. I have to give the text to look at it, what he's done. If it's half as good as you say, I'd say that Skinny is a genius with mechanics. You tell him that you really agree, and you head off for a drink, your laughter booming down the corridor. Alright, so I believe there is another step in this where we actually have to go and talk to this McGraw guy. And that ends with getting these neat repair drones. But we're getting on, you know, hour and 10 minutes, so I'm going to call it here for the night. So thank you everyone for joining me. It's been a pleasure. If you like this kind of content, I have more over on my YouTube channel of the same name, VODs from previous streams. We're going to be wrapping up this pirate campaign soon. We're going to move on to another one of the 5 remaining campaigns. Probably going to do the Velos one next, and that, as usual, will be streamed on here and put up on YouTube. If you like the kind of things, then hey, stick around. If you want to subscribe, that's awesome. If you want to, you know, like and comment back on YouTube, that's great too. But just keep being awesome. All right, have a good one.